Hello, Aldwyn, Altuney here. Welcome to Media Queen TV. We have the beautiful Arame Ndoye here from New Jersey in the United States of America. We have a hot topic for you, how to get free and fulfilled. A little bit about Arame. She is a holistic coach, a licensed rapid transformational therapy practitioner, and a certified hypnotherapist. She's the author of The Courage to Heal and host of the Get Free and Fulfilled podcast, which she interviewed me on recently. She's passionate about getting people unstuck so they can live free and fulfilled lives. She works to create a safe space for others to open up, empower, and free themselves from whatever is holding them back, and to live in alignment with their true selves. She loves Five Rhythms Dance. So do I. I absolutely love Five Rhythms Dance. It's so
Amazing.
cool. If you're watching this and haven't checked out Five Rhythms Dance, make sure you do it. She loves connecting with friends and family, making new meaningful connections, exploring, expanding, evolving, and spreading love. I love that, spreading love. Beautiful. Welcome, Arame.
Thank you so much, Aldwyn. Heart shape. I love that.
Spreading love across the nations. So
Amen.
great to have you here. You are
Thank
just
you.
such a beautiful presence. You know, I saw you interviewing a friend of mine, Sarah, and I thought I have to connect with this lady. And I reached out to you, and here we are. Now you've interviewed me on your show, and now here I am interviewing you on my show. Such a beautiful collaboration. And you know,
Indeed.
I love what you do, and having talked to you and realizing we're both Capricorns too, interestingly.
Right.
Having talked to you, we had so much in common, and you know, on such a journey of self-development and personal development. And you know, I say this roller coaster ride of life it has its ups and downs and rounds, and you know, how you do that journey is so important. And I must say, you bring such a joyful presence around through the screen here. It's beautiful. So can you tell us a bit about your background? What was it that landed you in New Jersey?
Wow. So it started all the way in Africa, Senegal, which is in the west side of Africa. So that's where I grew up. That's where I was born. After I graduated high school, then I moved to the US to go to college, which I did. And I took a break, started working at just like a boutique store in my neighborhood, which was then in New York City. And then started, didn't know what to do. Then I went to grad school, studied political science and all that good stuff. Decided that actually that's not what I wanted to do. So I went on a search again, and it was a whole journey of, searching and realizing that actually what I was searching for was not exactly what I wanted to do, but more who I was. It was really a journey of self-discovery, because until I really started to get to know myself, I could not know what I wanted to do. So the journey began from Senegal to now here to the US since 1990. So it's been a while now. And I feel like the journey of self-discovery really just continues. It doesn't end. And for me, that's the beauty of it. We just keep more of discovering ourselves over and over and over again.
Yes, absolutely. Now I can just imagine what Senegal's like, but actually I'm thinking from what I've seen online, what is Senegal really like? What was it like growing up there?
Oh, wow. So Senegal, it's a beautiful country. We pride ourselves in, hospitality. It's like Senegal in Wolof, which is Sunugal, which means our boat. It's like a community where we have the boat together, and we sort of kind of take care of each other. We believe in community. Kids are raised by the community, not just by their parents. My childhood was, I would say, probably a bit over the place. I moved around a lot. At a young age, my mom started traveling. So I lived with cousins. I lived with aunts. I lived at some point with my dad, spent more time with my dad. So my childhood was a bit hectic, to say the least. And so growing up that way, I kind of didn't really feel safe for the most part. I didn't really feel safe. I didn't know what feeling safe was. So it took me a while to really, like, when I left there, even growing up and coming here and becoming an adult, and like the years piling on here as an adult, I still wasn't feeling safe. I really had to rebuild that safety from within myself. And it was a journey. And there are still times where I have to remind myself intentionally, you are safe, you're okay, and to just come back to myself. And it's like, I think safety, that piece of safety and security is such a huge thing for all of us, most of us, like we're always looking for the safe place to be. And for me, I thought the safe place was outside of me. That's like for the longest time, I thought the safe space just was not within me. I had to go out and look for it. And I looked for it in relationships, in men, and sometimes friendships, but it was never quite right. It never felt comfortable. Why? Because that's not where it's supposed to be. Safety comes from within, so I had to build it from within me. And once I decided to build that and foster it within me, and nobody could ever take that away from me. But yeah,
So
it's
true.
it's a journey.
Yeah, I think of Viktor Frankl's story, during the concentration camps in the book A Man's Search for Meaning. And, he said they could take everything away from him. They can't take his mind and his soul, right?
Mhm.
They can't take what's on the inside.
Indeed.
And there, there is so much energy on the outside too. So, we have guides, we have angels, we have ancestors with us. We have all of this, which the more we silence ourselves, the more we come internally, the more we tap into the power that is actually all around us and within us, that often we are conditioned to be playing small lives due to mass media control and government control, and wanting people to live small lives. So I love this topic today, how to get free and fulfilled. And I'd love to hear more of your journey, growing up. What was it like for you to, as you say, you found that on the inside? What did it take for you to find that? Like, what was the journey for you like?
Wow. So the journey at a young age, you know, first it was marked by my mother leaving at a really young age. I think I was about maybe 3 or 4 years old when my mom first left. So it was such a huge shock. But I didn't realize how deeply it had marked me until I became an adult and I started doing the inner work and, looking back and just going back into my tracks and into my subconscious mind, and to really find out, okay, where is this deep feeling of unsafety coming from? And I realized it was rooted into that stuff, not having my mother around, and then also having experienced sexual abuse. That was like something that was piled on top of it. Like as I got older, I thought sexual abuse was like the catalyst, but it really wasn't. The first thing was growing up without my mother, like not having that safe, warm connection physically, and then having experienced that other stuff. But what I realized, that I was carrying it when I didn't have to carry it. First
Mm.
off, like reframing the whole thing, like my mom leaving, in my mind growing up was, oh, she left me, she abandoned me, and all that stuff. But what I really realized was that, by reframing it, she, the reason she did it was she wanted to take care of us, me and my older sister. She put us through school, private school, the whole time. So it was not
Mm.
abandonment, it was more taking care of us her own way and the best that she could. So I worked on reframing that first of all, to see it under a different light, different perspective, that allowed me to even feel more love and more joy towards my mother. That was big for me. And then also reframing, like the experience of sexual abuse, seeing it as though it's not going to define me. I am not a victim. I am a thriver. This is actually making me stronger, for one, but also two, it helps me help other people who might have gone
Mm.
through the same thing. That, like, I understand them, I understand where they come from, and I can help because I was able to help myself. I was able to sort of like empower myself to get free from all of that. And if I can do it, anybody can.
Yes, yes, I love that. And that's the thing, not to be defined by our circumstances and things that happen to us. Do not define us. It's how has this happened for me is a great reframe question.
Yes. Yeah.
How has this happened for me? And
Mhm.
there's always learnings in everything. And if you don't get the learning, then you'll keep attracting the same situations until you get the learning in life, right? That's how it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I can definitely relate to your story too. I've had, sexual, physical, mental, emotional abuse in the past as well. And I have done a lot of inner work to build my own self-confidence and realizing that hurt people. And, whenever we carry anger or resentment towards someone else, it's like us taking the poison and wanting them dead, right? So
Mhm.
the best thing to do with people that are hurting and that are being hurtful is to send them love. It doesn't mean we have to put up with it, but we send them love from a distance, let them go energetically. And karma always has a way of coming back for whatever people put out. You put out positive vibes, you're going to get positive back. You put out negative vibes, you're going to get negative back. It's just how it goes. So it's self-fulfilling prophecy that we are
Yeah.
all creating every single day, and we are incredibly powerful, and people do not realize often how powerful we are and how we can manifest things very quickly. So how to get free and
Absolutely.
fulfilled. So what are some strategies you would give people in how they can get free and fulfilled?
The first thing I would say is to become aware of the story you are telling yourself. Like, become aware of the thing that is going on in your mind, your lips, your feelings, your body, and also your actions, because it's all connected. You think it, like you speak it, you feel it, and you act like it. And like the story that we tell ourselves, that's the belief. That's all. To me, that's what a belief is. When you tell a story long enough, you begin to believe it. Whether it's true or not, it becomes a belief. And
True.
that belief, whether it's disempowering or empowering, and if it's in a lot of cases it's disempowering, that's what keeps us stuck. That's what holds us back. So you have to switch that. First of all, become aware of it. Ask yourself, okay, what have I been telling myself? What is the story that I've been repeating myself for days, for weeks, for years? Like I know personally, I've
Mm,
told certain stories for years, and
yeah.
it's like, now reversing that, that's the work. Changing
Mm,
that story, and being mindful that changing that story won't happen overnight. It's not like a quick fix thing, but it's worth it, because if you've
yes.
been telling a story, like I have been telling a story for over 35 years, how am I able to change that story like overnight? There's no way.
Mm,
If you like 35 years overnight, there's like the time gap is huge. So it takes practice, it takes dedication to change the story. So realize the story you've been telling yourself. And
mm,
then what new story do you want to tell? Like write that new story down. And then every chance you get, tell the new story. And then be mindful that you're going to fall back to the old story often, because that's just
mm.
like, that's what's happening. It's a momentum. But then you're free to say, which I've done a lot, when that old story comes and I catch myself, I'm like, cancel, clear, go back and be like, okay, cancel, clear, delete, and now tell the new story. Do it over
Yeah.
and over and over until it becomes second nature.
Yes. Or press the reset button, right?
Absolutely. Yes, we can do it.
And the thing is too, I love that. And the thing is to not make yourself wrong for falling back to those old patterns,
No.
because it's like the iceberg analogy. We're
Yes.
operating with 10% of our, or 5% of our conscious mind here. And then all this 95% under here is all underneath the water. We can't see often all the
Mhm.
subconscious programming, conditioning, stories that can be in our generation or can be 7 generations back. We have scientifically proven the DNA of 7 generations, right? So we could be carrying stuff from our ancestors that we're not even conscious of. Like I've had a story, for example, you have to work hard for your money, right? And I know, like my dad said the other day, we're I should just turn 48 on Sunday. My dad turned 84. And dad said life wasn't meant to be easy. And I just caught it. I was like, oh my goodness, I've grown up with that life wasn't meant to be easy.
Wow.
Because my dad's had that conditioning from his, and because his upbringing was, he grew up in poverty in Turkey and had
Mm.
such a hard upbringing. So his conditioning has been life wasn't meant to be easy, and not making my dad wrong for that. It's just, his conditioning from his parents and etc. So getting to that, sometimes there's deeper work to be done, not just in our lifetime, but looking at those previous lifetimes. So that's one story I've had. Got to work hard for your money. And another one has been, there's too much to do, not enough time. Has been another story. Too much to do, not enough time. And so reframing that, for example, could be, I have all the time in the world to do everything I want to do, right?
Absolutely.
Or something like that.
I
right?
love that. Yeah. And it's like another thing you mentioned it, which is like, don't make yourself wrong for it. Meaning like, don't feel guilty about it when you catch yourself going back to the old story. First of all, every time you catch yourself going back to the old story, that's a victory. So you can give yourself a tap in the back for that. And then also, like, don't allow yourself to feel the guilt. Like, no guilt whatsoever. Because I noticed that I was feeling, guilty about it. But then I read the book by Dr. Hawkins, Letting Go. And in it, he says, like, he has the best phrase, I feel, totally simple for letting go of guilt. And it is, it seemed like a good idea at the time. It's that simple. So when you feel that guilt for any reason, we're not here to feel guilt. We're here to live a good life. We're here to be happy. We're here to create, to feel and be happy. So every time you feel that feeling of guilt, notice it and just be like, seemed like a good idea at the time. Let it go. And I've practiced that, and I've noticed it made such a huge difference in like myself, and like building up my own self-esteem and being kind to myself.
Yes.
The same way I would be kind to a loved one, I can give that same kindness to myself.
Because most issues come back to self-love. And
absolutely.
Dr. Hawkins' scale of consciousness is just so powerful. If you just search that, for those watching today, thank you for joining us, by the way. Those that have just joined us, please let us know, where are you joining us from? Let us know in the comments, where are you joining us from, and what's something you're grateful for today? Love to hear from you. What's something you're grateful for? So look up Dr. Hawkins' scale of consciousness. Now, you talked about guilt. Now, in that, it talks about, scientifically proven 100 years ago, Dr. Hawkins proved we vibrate. We are 99.9999% energy and vibration and frequency, and we vibrate at different frequencies when we feel different things. And when we feel guilt, we are vibrating at 30 megahertz. When we are at shame, it's the lowest vibration we'll feel, other than being dead. Dead is 0, but shame is 20 megahertz. When we are in fear, we're at 100 megahertz. Now, when we come into love and above, love is at 528 megahertz, joy and gratitude are at 540, peace is at 600, and enlightenment is 700 to 1,000 and up. Right. So getting really conscious to where we're vibrating at and what we're thinking and feeling. The healing is in the feeling, as Dr. Espen, one of my mentors, says. The healing is in the feeling. So noticing those feelings, like just noticing, picking up on it, is an achievement, as you say, in itself. Just noticing, because often we operate unconsciously. It's like Groundhog Day. We're like the mouse on the wheel, often go round and round and round in circles. Yep. And it takes a moment just to step off that roundabout and the wheel to actually go, oh my goodness, life's been spinning a bit lately and it doesn't need to go that way.
Yeah. Right? And it takes practice. It takes willingness, and also not giving up, because I think sometimes when you're doing that for a bit, you might be inclined to be like, oh, this is not working. I'm not doing this. That's just, it's resistance. It's normal, but you have to keep up with it. It's really about, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to be free? How bad do you want to feel fulfilled, as opposed to how bad do you want to get stuck? How bad do you want it? And compared to that, then you will do the work, because it takes work. It's not something that's happens easily. Like, you will get there, but you have to put in a little bit of work there consistently.
Yes. To be happy to be on that roller coaster ride of life, and to realize there will be ups and downs and round and rounds.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we need to slow down to speed up. I love that saying, slow down to speed up.
Yeah.
And that's been a big one for me, getting into meditating. Years as a journalist, it was go, 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 go. and high adrenaline kind of lifestyle. And for me, meditating has always been a challenge in the past, where I've had so many thoughts going on, and I found it really hard to just slow down the thoughts and, focus on the breath is such a simple thing in meditating. And you could be meditating, it doesn't have to be a long meditation. You could be staring out into nature and just have a moment of just being present with nature, and that could be meditating for you.
Yeah.
So whatever, there's a lot of successful people that I know meditate, and that's tapping into that inner power that we all have.
Yeah, that's
So
the quiet time. It's necessary, give yourself a
yes,
timeout.
yes. And with the how to get free and fulfilled, now of course we have the wheel of life, we have many different areas of life. Do you have any practices that you consistently do, Aram, where you're looking maybe at all the different areas of your life
Mhm.
and considering, where can I be free or be more free, or in certain areas? Anything around that?
Yeah, so like we just mentioned, it starts with meditation. It starts with being still, like when really giving myself the time to be still. And then for me, like the main areas that I look at is the mind and the body and, relationships and home and work.
Mm.
So looking at those, writing a list, it helps me personally to, like, let's say I take the mind. What do I want out of that? Meaning, like, what kind of thoughts do I want in my mind? What kind of beliefs do I want to foster? Write those down and then begin the practice of doing that, or the practice of repeating the story that I want until it becomes a belief. That would be the part for the mind. And then for the body, what do I want for my body? First of all, what do I want to feed my body? How do I want to move my body? And how do I want my body to look, from head to toe? Like, how do I want to dress? What do I want my hair to look like? Like, write those things down, become clear about it, and begin moving towards it. And then moving towards it shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be like exhausting. And how you can do that is by taking small steps. Make it as simple as possible for yourself. Now, I was doing that. It's like, when I say, okay, for my body, I want to start moving. I want to start exercising. I wasn't a big fan of exercise. In some way, I'm still kind of not. But how can I make it simple and easy for me so that I know that I will do it?
Mm.
And it was, for me, it was like I just use basic resistance bands and I just hang it on the doorknob and I pull and I do that. It's like
Mm.
literally, like I could do a workout for 5 minutes and then incrementally 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Do it however it's simple for you to start. Because if you're trying to start high and big, first of all, you're chewing too much and you are less likely to actually do it. That's one thing.
Mm.
And then do the same thing for the other areas. Like, let's say, for work, write down what do you want out of your work. Do you want, obviously you want money out of your work, or you want your work to fulfills you. You want, your coworkers, if you're working with other people, what kind of relationships do you want with your coworkers? Or if you work alone, what kind of clients do you want? Write those things down and then think about how can you make it, like, take the first steps. Don't think about like the huge, big end of it of all, but take the first simple step right now to get to it. And again, do it the same thing for your relationships, because I feel like relationship is such an important category for all of us. What kind of relationships do you want in terms of romantic, with family, with friends? What are the kinds of people do you want to be surrounded by? And with all of those categories, the most important thing that they have in common is the feeling. How do you want to feel? It's like
Mm.
that is the ultimate thing. We're chasing feelings when we're talking about goals and money and, husband or all of that. How does it make you feel? When you can nail down the feeling for each of those areas and then begin to even get into that mode of that feeling. Like, okay, you're saying, okay, I want a job that fulfills me. What does fulfillment feel like to you? And start practicing that feeling and start taking small, consistent steps towards that.
Mm. Yes, I love that. The feeling, how are we feeling? And it's interesting. I've done, many different modalities of training. One course I did was landmark education back in 2006, which was very, very powerful. I found it fantastic training. However, interestingly, in landmark, they say you're not your thoughts and feelings. And it was very much head-based neuroscience, very mental kind of training. And since that, I've done a lot of emotional training, a lot of, womb work, a lot of women's work. And actually, so it's almost like I've balanced out the trainings. And so different things will work for different people.
Sure.
However, really with that training, in many ways, I suppress my feelings because we're not our thoughts and feelings. We are our word. We are what we give our word to. And so in landmark, a really big topic of conversation is integrity, and that we are nothing and our word, and creating life from a blank canvas. So if you were to create life from a blank canvas in all the different areas of your life, what would that look like?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you want to create? We are masterful manifestors, right? We are so powerful, and we have been shut down and conditioned by authority for a long time, by the media, to be living small lives, to be living in fear. And more people are tapping into now this power that we have, this super consciousness that we have, which is very exciting. And I think COVID has been good in that way, in many ways, because people have been coming back to themselves, sometimes in a forced way with the lockdowns, right? People are like, oh, what do I do at home now? Well, how about meditate or do some dancing around the room and make it easy for yourself, like 5 rhythms dance you love,
Make
right?
it easy. I mean, it's fun, it's absolutely amazing. I discovered it over the summer, during this whole thing, and it's been absolutely amazing, freeing, healing, just on so many levels.
Yes. How would you describe 5 rhythms dance for those who don't know about it?
Oh, wow. So 5 rhythms, there are 5 rhythms. And the first one is flow, where it's like more feminine. You flow, you move with, flowy movement. And then you have staccato, which is more masculine. And then you have chaos. Chaos is like, all over the place, you move. That's the third rhythm. And then the fourth one is lyrical, which is kind of flowy, but has a bit more rhythm to it. But the thing is, like, it's kind of hard to describe what lyrical really is. And then the fifth one is still, where you end into like, more stillness. But throughout the whole thing, you are in your body, but you are also dancing with other people. So you're like, you can go in and out, be alone among other people, but also be in community with other people, and always connecting to your body and your breath.
I love that.
It's like a beautiful free form dance. It really is.
Yes. I was introduced to 5 rhythms dance in Melbourne by a friend of mine, Gary Wallman, who's actually from America originally, and he does it all the time. And he's about 70 or so now, and he just
It's
loves it. He
beautiful.
just and actually, I took one of my clients down to one of the Melbourne 5 rhythms events a few years ago, and my client, it was in his 80s, early 80s, and he loved it. He's a retired doctor, Alfred Zerfers, and we all went to the 5 rhythms dancing together, and he absolutely loved it. So it's for something anyone of any age can do, and I just love the free flowing. Everyone's dancing in a big space freely within that space. It's not, no one sort of models anyone else. We just do our own thing, and often we do carry emotional or traumatic things within our body. So just doing that free movement can actually release a lot of tension and stress.
It really does. It really, really does. And it's about conscious movement, because a lot of times we move, but we move unconsciously. We're not aware of our body and the movements that it does. And in this form of dance, you are conscious, but you are not obsessively conscious. Like, that your body is moving, but you allowing your body to do what it wants to do. There's no like, controlling it. You just allow your body to do what it wants to do. If your body just wants to stand there, and that's fine. At some point your body might want to do this or that or jump, whatever. You just allow it to do it. And it's like, it is so different from the rest of our daily lives. When do we get to do those things? When do we actually allow our body to, do this and speak, as opposed to us speaking, but allowing the body to speak, because it always has stuff to say.
Yes. If we tune in, we will hear it.
Yes,
We will
you will.
get the messages.
Absolutely.
Now, Aram, you've got quite a big background in coaching. You've done a lot here. Licensed rapid transformational therapy practitioner, certified hypnotherapist, holistic coach. So, how did that journey start for you, and when did you start doing that?
Oh, yeah. Wow. So it started with my own personal healing journey. So going through my own healing journey and dabbling into a lot of different modalities. I tried hypnotherapy. I tried meditation. I did psychedelic mushrooms. I did even holotropic breathing. So I did a bunch of stuff just to sort of like heal myself, to heal my body, my mind, and my spirit. And what I realized that like I had the inner power to let go of a lot of stuff. Like I had that inner power to let go of things that I didn't know that I could do. So I realized that, oh wow, I do have a lot of power within me. I have that strength to let, I don't care what story has been running in my mind. I don't care what experience has happened. I can get over this. And once I saw that I could do it, I also realized that like I'm not special. You know, there's nothing about me that makes me special, that says that, oh, I can heal but other people can't. That is not true.
Mm, mm,
If I can do certain things, or if I can, get to a place of empowerment and healing, anybody can. So that part of realizing that anybody can, that's what made me also realize that, well, I want to be a part of that. I want to create a space where people can come and do that, because sometimes you can be deep into something that you may need somebody to like pull their hand out and help you get up. So I want it to be that hand that I can sort of like be like this, and then here, come. So
mm,
that's what got me into it. I want to be in that space where I can pull people up. I can help them empower themselves. I can help them see themselves. I'm not there to like fix them. Like there's nothing wrong with you in the first place to be fixed. But sometimes people like they want a safe space to open up. They want a safe space to be seen, to be heard, and to be held. So if I can create a space where somebody can come and really feel seen, really feel heard and held, that just makes my day. And that's
mm,
what drew me to coaching, and that's also what drew me to practicing RTT, which is like rapid transformational therapy, which is a form of therapy that uses hypnotherapy to get to the root cause, like subconscious root cause of whatever it is, like usually an old belief that a person is not even aware of, but that is holding them back. So with that form of therapy, we get to the root cause of it, and then we reframe it, we eliminate it, and then create a new story that is implemented at the subconscious level while the person is under hypnosis, and we start creating a new story for them, like new beliefs. So that's what got me to doing that. And also because it combines hypnotherapy, so like doing both of those at the same time has been super helpful, not just for me but also for my clients.
Yes, I know a
Yeah.
little bit about RTT from one of my clients, Angelique Pellegrino. She's a RTT therapist, and she swears by it. She says it is so good for
Oh
and
my
it's
god.
rapid. It's rapid
Yeah.
transformational
Yeah.
therapy because it is rapid, right?
Yeah.
And often, you don't need too many sessions, right? You can
No.
actually sort things out very quickly with that, which is
Yeah.
amazing. So,
It's
who were some
very
of?
different from heart, like sorry, I
Mm,
don't mean to cut you off, but
oh,
it's
yeah,
very
yeah, no,
different from like traditional talk therapy, where people will go, they can go to therapy for years, and that becomes counterproductive because you're telling the same story over and over and over. When you repeat the same story over and over, you keep it active and you're still stuck in it, as
mm,
opposed to going in, finding it out, the root cause, eliminating it, and let that go. Like put it to bed. At some point you have to put it to bed,
mm,
as opposed to
mm.
keeping it active.
Yes, because whatever we believe to be true, we will keep looking for evidence of
Yes.
why that's true, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
interesting comment came in here from Melinda. Not the mushroom, wrong one, and you're a goner. Now that's an interesting That's an interesting comment there, Melinda, right? Wrong one. So now I did magic mushies back in the day. I did the magic mushies in Canberra. They were called magic mushies back then. We used to pick them in the field and psychedelic kind of things. But then there's medicinal, right?
Yeah.
Mushrooms as well. So that's interesting. So obviously Melinda's had an experience there, potentially, or she knows a little bit about someone who's had an experience who obviously things haven't been the same since their mushroom journey. So that's interesting. So talking about our beliefs, right? Our beliefs around, mushrooms. And I must say, one time when I did take magic mushrooms back in the day, in my rebellious teenage, early 20s stage, I remember I did take too much of it. I took too much, and one minute I felt like I was on top of the world, and next minute I was banging my head against lights and things, like just totally not aware where I was. I was like, I was here, but I wasn't here. So,
it's not for everyone. It's not
something.
It's not for everyone. And also, it is one of those things that whatever state you are in emotionally, mentally, spiritually, it will enhance. Whatever state you are in, it will enhance it. So it is absolutely not for everyone. It's like, it's a personal choice. And there are so many modalities for healing. So it's like there's so many things to choose from. It's just one of many healing modalities.
Yes. And having the support there too, if you feel that you need it, reach out. There's always support there for you if you are doing any of this. I recently did ayahuasca for the first time. I'd been wanting to do ayahuasca, and that was an amazing journey for me. However, it was in a very supportive environment, and I've been integrating for a while since then. I've had massive transformation. I've just committed to a guy for the first time in 7 years, only recently, and that's been a huge leap for me.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Considering trauma I've had in the past with ex relationships, some of them. So I had a lot of fear of intimacy with relationships, a lot of I had certain stories around men. At 6 years of age, I saw a sheep that I befriended in Turkey have its throat cut in front of me by 3 men. So immediately I can't trust men. I was with my family, can't trust my family, don't want to be here, life is cruel. All these decisions came about. Fast forward 10 years, then at 16 years of age, I see my boyfriend sleep with my best friend in front of me. See, the minute you get too close to something, you're going to get hurt. Can't trust men, all men are bastards. Can't trust women either now, right? And then fast forward again another 6 years, and my boyfriend of 4 years, a new boyfriend at that time, after a 4-year amazing relationship, one night lost the plot, strangled me, almost killed me. And again, see, you can't trust men. The minute you get too close to someone, you're going to get hurt. And so 17 years after that, I didn't live with any guys, right? So this sort of trauma, if this isn't dealt with, in however you choose to deal with it, whether it's mushrooms or whether it's different courses or whatever it is for you, it's important to look at this, because otherwise you're carrying it around. You're going, I really want a relationship, but actually there's all this stuff in the background that's actually holding you back from having a relationship because of the fear of getting too close. So this is just some examples of some stories that can play out, right? And then attracting a series of emotionally unavailable men as well, and keeping busy with work, so I don't have time for a man, and no space for a man in my life, all those kind of things. So getting conscious to that. So Melinda's saying here, that's it, the perfect space or place or property. She says, always wondered about RTT, making a person cluck like a chook.
Not sure what that means. Cluck like a chook. I'm not sure what that means.
So some hypnotherapists, there's certain hypnotherapists that get people on stage and they have people do crazy things, like they pretend to do chicken sounds and things like that.
That is so stereotypical.
So definitely, I say that wouldn't happen in RTT, right? But with comedy hypnotists, and Mark Anthony's one here on the Gold Coast.
I think hypnotherapy hypnosis has gotten a bad rap. And the thing is, hypnosis is nothing but deep relaxation and deep meditation. That's all it is. Putting a person into a state of alpha or theta so they can access the subconscious mind. It's nothing but deep relaxation. It's not about controlling someone's mind and making them do things that they don't want to do. It's nothing like that. If I could make people do what they, they would be signing empty checks to me and I'd be a multi-billionaire. It's nothing like that. It's really about getting a person to a deep state of relaxation so they can access the subconscious mind. because you can't access the subconscious mind and the unconscious beliefs until you are in like that state of alpha or theta where you're deeply relaxed. Because when the nervous system is running all the time constantly, you're just focused on like the things that are happening presently. You're not relaxed to a point where you can find out what's underneath. So that's a tool to get somebody into that space.
It's really working with that subconscious space. So Melinda says, even normal mushrooms can make you sick if they are going off. Well, that's true. And mushrooms are full of vitamin B. That's true too. I only know if you're picking them in the field, you want the right mushrooms, not toadstools, because that's true. There are actually poisonous mushrooms out there. Absolutely right there, Melinda. And you do need to be aware what type of mushrooms you are taking, because some of them can potentially kill you. So yeah, that's a very good point. She says, OMG, oh my goodness, throat cut by 3 men. OMG, the poor sheep. Yeah, it was pretty traumatic. But you know what? I look back, I have reframed that story. I have reframed with all the work I've done on myself. In fact, that situation when I was 6 years of age, I blocked that out of my memory. It was only in the landmark course in 2006 where they said in that course, they said, you know, in life, something happens, you make it mean something. Something happens, you make it mean something. And usually a lot of it's between the age of 0 to 7, right? So somewhere up until the age of 7, something happens, we make it mean something, and that forms a lot of how we do life. And I was thinking back to before I was 7, well, what are some things from my childhood? And I completely blocked this sheep incident out of my memory. And it came to me, I went, oh my goodness, it was just such a light bulb moment. However, you know, since then, I have now done, since 2007, 15 annual animal action events raising awareness, appreciation, and respect for animals. And I look back at that sheep now, I've reframed it, and I've looked at that sheep as a sacrifice, because what actually happened with that sheep is, what the story was behind it, it was actually a Greek Orthodox tradition when family come from a long way away. So my parents had migrated to Australia from Turkey in 1970. In 1980, 10 years later, when I was 6, they went back to Turkey, and the family over there sacrificed a sheep, which back over there, they cut the sheep by the throat, and they, you know, that's just how they do it over there. And they drain the blood. It's a halal way of killing the meat, killing the sheep. What they do is they sacrifice a sheep, and it's based on, in the Bible, Job's story in the Bible, where he wanted to sacrifice his son for God, and God said, no, sacrifice a sheep. And it's a symbol of prosperity, and it's what they do with that sheep, the meat, they feed the meat to the poor village people. So it's actually a really noble kind of cause, what happened with the sheep. So now I look back at that sheep, and I'm grateful now for that situation, because that sheep is now like a mascot, is like, you know, is part of the reason why I do what I do, you know, with the animal work. You know, that I think of that sheep, and I think of the millions of sheep every year that get killed, and some of them in not such a humane way. I mean, I think if you're going to kill animals, kill them quickly. Don't let them suffer. There's no need for suffering and for animal cruelty. And that's something, after years of seeing animal cruelty, I wanted to do something to make a difference. So I have reframed that story around the sheep, and now I look at it as a gift. Now it's a gift, because I know I've been connected with that sheep for a reason. My brother was only 2 years older than me. He didn't connect at all with the sheep, right? He just didn't connect with it. That was my friend, the sheep. However, even if that Greek Orthodox story was explained to me, I wouldn't have understood as a 6-year-old what that was all about. That was just my friend, the sheep, and I would have wanted to go off and live happily ever after with my sheep, you know, as a 6-year-old, you know.
It's the same in Muslim religion also. The sheep is killed during the Eid holiday.
Right. Yes. Yes. It's very symbolic. It's very like the Silence of the Lambs, and
Yeah.
yeah. So really, really interesting. So some more great comments. Thank you for all your comments here, Melinda. Okay, she says, yes, I agree. How can you attract the right sort of guy? Okay, that's a question. How can you attract the right sort of guy? There we go. Question for you, Aram.
That's a great question. First, like, I think it's the right sort of guy. What does it mean to you? Like, what are you looking for in a guy? I would first try to figure that out. Like, maybe write down a list of things that you want in a guy. Like I would preferably start with the feelings. What do you want to feel when you're with a guy? How do you want to feel? Focus on that first, and also look at the qualities that you want in that man, in that relationship. And as far as the qualities, ask yourself also, do I have those qualities that I'm looking for in that man? Because until we can foster those same qualities we're looking for in that person, we can't attract that person. we have to be a match with that person vibrationally in order to attract it. So let's say I want a man who is emotionally available, and I am not emotionally available. There's no, I can't attract that because I am not like a vibrational match for that person. So I'd have to do a little bit of inner work to get to that place of emotional availability so I can attract that kind of person.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
We say, oh, we want someone fit and healthy. Well, are you fit and healthy, right? Are you?
Yeah, it's true.
We
Yeah.
want someone who's generous. Are you
Yeah.
generous? We want someone who's financially free. Are you financially free?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All those things to look at. And I
Yeah.
guess it won't be always that you're an exact match in all areas. However, the more you raise your vibration, get clear on what you want, I guess the
Yeah.
more you will
Like
attract.
getting clear, like what do you want, what are the things that you want in that person, knowing that. And like when you're writing it down, I feel like you're already putting it out into the universe that, okay, this is what I want, like you're asking. And like I love that book by Esther Hicks, Ask and It Is Given. It is given the minute you ask, it is given. Why it takes
Yes.
long to manifest physically is because we're not yet a vibrational match. So that's where the
Mm.
work is.
Yeah, I actually did the big list because I've obviously had, a series of relationship issues in the past. My longest relationship, 7 years. I had the 7-year itch on that one. And then a series of lovers and part-time relationships, friends with benefits, a few, 5-year, 3-year, 2-year, 1 year. The relationships were getting shorter as I got older. I was less tolerant, right? But of course, it was nothing to do with me. It was
That's
all the other
growing.
people.
As part of the growth.
Nothing to do with me. And so now after 7 years, I've now gone 7-year each the other way around.
There you
After
go.
7 years of meaningless part-time, well, they weren't all meaningless, but there was always this empty feeling of part-time relationships, of lovers. It never really felt satisfying. And interestingly, I met this guy. We met last year, about a year ago. We were just both really busy, and we just, we liked each other, but we just didn't make time for each other. And then we made time for each other, and we realized how much we had in common. And I've done a lot of inner work since that time too. And I realized I just don't want to do the lovers anymore, and I actually want something more substantial. I really like this guy, and I kept thinking about him. Even when I was with other guys or with other people, I kept thinking about him. So, there's a reason these thoughts keep coming up. Why do I'm attracted to this guy, and we have so much in common, and it's just the most beautiful relationship now. However, a few years ago, a girlfriend said, write down everything you want in a man, right? Write down every single little thing. If you want a non-smoker, put that. You want children. So I wrote this massive list, right? And now a guy asked me, said, now show me that list of what you've written down. I showed him the list. He said, don't ever show that list to anyone ever again. There was that much on the list. He said, now this is just ridiculous, However, I will look back at that list now, and I bet you there'll be a lot on that list. It's actually the guy that I've met now that it's manifested many years later, right? So, anything is possible. If you could have the dream partner, what would that be like? If you could be the dream person for someone, what would that be like? And, and making those incremental steps to actually become the best version of you. I think that's really the thing in life. You want to make the most of life, then do what gives you joy, right? And be the
That's
best
what
version of
attracts
you.
people. That's what attracts people. Like the inner work and the self love and the self confidence is attractive.
Absolutely. So Melinda's got a few more comments. Yes, the TV show Mind Control, lol. Yes. And if you want to know more about that, watch the Out of Shadows documentary. It had about 10 million views in a month when it came out during COVID last year, Out of Shadows. And then it was banned off YouTube. It was taken off a whole lot of sites. It was done by two Hollywood guys, two stunt guys in Hollywood. We're talking about the brainwashing that happens in the mainstream media in Hollywood. And you will find it online. You might find it on somewhere like Rumble, BitChute. You might find it on, some different video platforms. Out of Shadows documentary. Look for that one. About that tells you all about the media mind control, media programming that has been happening, right? Well, it says frankincense, rose, otto, aromatherapy helps. Okay, what does that help with? I wonder. Are you talking about relationships? Helps with manifesting things? I'm not sure what that helps with. Let's go on to the more comments here. Now you made me feel bad because we lived in the country and we raised then killed sheep. Oh, same way you have drained the blood, otherwise the meat is tough. That's right. Yes, same as killing the bulls in Spain go to the poor. Oh, right. I didn't know that. The bulls in Spain go to the poor too. But see, the way they kill those, the running of the bulls is quite a cruel practice. I know it's an age-old tradition, but the intention is not to make you feel bad. And in fact, I can't make you feel bad, Melinda, because you're choosing that right now. No one can make you feel anything, right? We choose, and you may not like me saying this, but we choose how we respond or how we react to any situation, and taking responsibility for that is interesting. So that's funny because we ended up with one sheep left and it ran away. No way was it becoming roast dinner. Well, there you go. That one sheep obviously wanted to be free and fulfilled, right? It wanted to live a longer life. So
Hey,
good on you. The sheep
more
that got
power to
away.
that sheep.
The sheep. Yes, you just know what the other is thinking without even saying it out loud. Oh, that's if you're in a great relationship, I would imagine, equals. Yeah, like twin flames, right? And I think there's the thing in relationships, see relationships as two people on their path and then they come together like this, right? Whereas often where relationships go wrong is what I've noticed is that someone will lean on the other. There'll be a lot of insecurities. Where are you going? What are you doing? Controlling can happen, and that will just collapse the relationship, right? So,
very true.
whereas I'm really into encouraging, and actually with my new partner, my boyfriend, we actually, had a discussion and we said, well, what do we want to create? What do we want to create for the relationship? What do we value in this relationship? We value integrity, honesty. We want to have fun. We want, all these things that we created together. So everything can be resolved with communication, and anything can be created with communication, right? And so back to the words, the stories that we tell ourselves where we started this conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so true. And like you said, with the relationships, it really is. It's like two whole people coming together. Like that person, you're not responsible for each other's emotions. You're both whole. You're both secure. You're both you've expanded. You've both you come together, and it's like when two people that are whole come together, you create magic. Magic happens because you're already whole people. You're not depending on each other for your joy or your happiness. You already have it within you before you came to that relationship. Now that relationship may enhance it, and you create magic together, sparks and all of that. That's when it's fun.
Yes. And whoop, there it is for the Espen crew that understand that, because in my post that I wrote about the relationship that I'm in now, I actually put in there, I'm happy with him and I'm happy without him. And together we create magic. I actually put those exact words, just like you just said.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And they say 95% of our happiness or misery comes from who we choose as a life partner. Now, isn't that interesting? Or who we choose as, who we hang out with. They say we're like our 5 closest people we hang out with. That's who we become like, which is interesting too. So, what sort of people you hang out with? Are these people family that are encouraging you to be the best version of you, or are they putting you down?
Yeah, and it's like it's not like when you're putting like your joy or your happiness and your emotions in the hands of someone else. That's a dangerous place to be. And also it's not quite fair to that person because they have their own stuff to deal with.
Yes.
And then wanting to be responsible for you and your emotions, that's extra work. But when you're able to do that for yourself, it's like, one, nobody can take that away from you. And two, whatever relationship you come into, whether it's like, romantic, friendship, family, you bring something to enhance that relationship.
Yes.
And then you attract people that way, people who are on that same wavelength.
Yes, so true. They say, when you come into a room, people are either happy to see you arrive or they're happy to see you go.
Yeah.
So, again, getting conscious to our vibration.
True.
Melinda says, probably all those things you can do with aromatherapy. Oh, okay. We're talking about that. Okay. No, you never made me feel bad, but refreshed a memory. That's all. yes, on the same path or on the same bus. That's a good idea to chat about what you want out of your relationship, set healthy boundaries. Yes, exactly. The magic happens. Thank you for sharing that, Melinda. Yes, the memories of the sheep. I'm sure there's strong memories you have of that. And again, discussing what you want and being really clear on what you want. I just had a beautiful reading with a lovely lady who does coffee oracle cards in Melbourne, and we were talking about exactly that. What is it that you want to create? Be really clear on what you want in all areas of your life. You want to be free and fulfilled. What does that look like to you?
What does it look like? How does it feel?
How
You
does
got to
it
get into the
feel?
feels.
How does it feel? What does it look like? How does it feel? What you think about and think about, you bring about. Having
Yeah.
gratitude for where you are now, exactly where you're exactly where you're meant to be right now, and
Yeah.
you can create anything you want for your life, for your future. And it starts in the moment, right? It starts right here and right now. And, having had this story about too much to do, not enough time, I know that a lot in my life, I've been in this adrenal overload kind of, I've become used to this sort of way of being. And more recently, as I've been doing more of the inner work and more of the meditation, what I've found is even though there's still a lot to do, right, there's still always a lot to do in the background. However, I'm not approaching it with the same amount of stress that I've had in the past.
Mhm.
And I've found that as I've been focusing on just a few key tasks every day, these are the 3 priorities for the day, for example, then I just go 1, 2, 3, just work through it. Okay, now focus on that. And I think focus is a really big thing nowadays, particularly with social media and all the distractions that can happen. Actually, just setting a timer or setting some time to just do some focused work, you can be so much more productive than 5 hours of unfocused work, with 1 hour of focused work, for example.
So true. Yeah, focus is the word. Like when it comes to work, meditation, life, relationships, it all takes some level of focus for sure.
Yes, yes. And if you think about light, when light is focused, you've got a laser beam, right? When
Yeah.
light is all over the place, it's not as strong. It's
Mhm.
it's it might be pretty. It might look like the stars behind me. It might be pretty, but you haven't got that laser sharp focus. Whereas you'll see the certain dots behind me where there's more focused light. Look how much stronger
Brighter.
they shine,
Yeah.
right?
And the mind is exactly like that. Like when you can get your mind to focus on what you want rather than what you don't want, things become to happen. It starts to happen. But again, it goes back to the focus. You have to just the focus can't be slappy, basically, like being all over the
Mm,
place. You really have to
mm.
hone in on what you want.
And for a lot of people who think, gee, I don't know what I want. Well, what would you say to those people? They say, well, I don't know what I want.
So well, first you can start with what you don't want. Like write them
Yes,
down. When you write down the things
yes.
that you don't want, most likely the opposite is what you want, right? It's like
Mm,
it's that simple. Most of us
yeah.
know what we don't want. It's very easy to look at that and say, yeah, I don't want that. Okay, what's the
Mm,
opposite of that? Then go for the opposite because the opposite is likely what you want.
yes. Yeah. For example, I didn't want to do lovers anymore, right? It was very unfulfilling. And,
Mhm.
I had enough. And it's when you get to that point where you've had enough, where it's like, right, enough is enough.
Right.
How many times are you going to say enough is enough before you actually do something about it?
Yeah.
Stop whinging
Exactly.
about and actually
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
action,
Yeah.
right?
Because
That's
it's the feeling when you don't want something, the feeling is not good. It's a bad feeling. You know it.
mm, yes,
So what is the good
exactly.
feeling? What is the opposite of that? That's the good feeling, and then hone in on that.
Mm. And it's not that, like with the lovers and the friends with benefits, not that it was all bad, because if it was all bad, I wouldn't have done it at all. However, overall, in the overall scheme of things, it was maybe a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, if I rated it out of 10 as into how fulfilling it was.
Mhm.
Whereas now in a relationship, I would say I'm at a 9 to 10. I don't know about 10 out of 10 exactly, but I'd say I'm at a 9. So it's like, well, are you going to be at a point where, oh, that's good enough, or that'll do?
Yeah.
Or do you want an extraordinary
Yeah.
life? And that takes sometimes stepping over the line, or jumping off the cliff and growing wings and flying, learning how to fly, right? It takes a
Yeah.
leap of courage sometimes to step out of comfort zone.
Mhm. And like I'm sure those relationships, those past relationships, helped you create the relationship that you have today. Meaning those things, they happen just to teach us. When I was in those
Yes.
past things, it just like they all helped me create what I want today. It's just like, okay,
Mm.
this is just something to use for me to bring in and put together the actual relationship that I want. Okay, this one taught
Mm.
me like sorry, this one taught me how to be emotionally available. This one taught me how to be, I don't know, like independent. This one taught me how to be more secure about myself. Like they all bring something, because
Mm.
they were not that person. Then you realize, oh, okay, so I actually want this. So you got something out of it. They helped you bring in all of the things that you want to put together for the relationship that you want.
So true. And again, noticing the stories that happen. Like I had, after years of online dating, I had this story that all the good ones are taken or gay, right?
Yeah.
That was my story. So
I've told that story too.
of course, I kept finding evidence of that everywhere, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
noticing the story, and
So true.
yeah, it's beautiful. I'm at this point now. Melinda says focus is a difficult one. Have to decide what is a priority. Yes, absolutely. Priority is so important, and then that comes down to having those bigger goals, like what do you want in a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years now, and then breaking it right down to, okay, what do we want in the month, what do I want, what's this week, what can I do this week to take me towards the goal for the next month or the next few, having that, start with the end in mind, right? Begin with
Yeah.
the end in mind is really
Yeah.
important. And then I find really having accountability buddies is really important. I've got a monthly accountability. I've got several weekly accountability buddies. I have business coaches and mentors in different areas of my life. Now, I'd love to know, Aram, who are some of the mentors that you've had that you've found amazing?
Oh, wow. It's been a few, but I'd have to say definitely Marissa Peer. I love her and
Yes.
loved her, psych program. It's amazing. Um, Esther Hicks is big lately. Joe Dispenza.
Yes.
Um, yeah, Tom Bilyeu from Impact Theory has been an amazing one too.
Mm,
Yeah. So yeah, those are the ones that are coming up, right? That have marked me, just
mm.
greatly, amazingly, positively over the past year.
Yeah, beautiful. Love
Yeah.
that. Melinda says, write the don't list, then have a ceremony and burn it or throw it away. Probably sounds funny. Yeah, you could do that. I guess you could,
Yeah, why not?
yeah, write
Put
what
it
you don't want.
behind you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
write what you don't want,
absolutely.
burn it, and then think of the opposite.
Yeah. It's
And
it's
write that.
that simple.
Yeah.
It's really that simple.
Awesome. She says, make life simple, know what you want, and know how to get it. Not always possible, I guess. Negotiating comes into it. Could do conversation. Everything can be resolved with communication. In fact,
Yeah.
there's 3 C's of relationships that I've heard in the past, and it's stuck with me all these years. The first C is commitment, right? Committing to something, right? Whatever that is, in relationship with others, in relationship to yourself, in what you want, commitment, right? The second is compromise, or some people say co-creation,
Mm.
right?
I
And
like
the third,
co-creation.
co-creation. Some people say compromise, but co-creation sounds better. And the third is communication, right?
Communication.
Beautiful
Yeah.
3 C's
Yeah.
of what you want in life. Melinda says, yes, the mentor, bit of a shocker when you find out negative things about mentors. Choose the right mentor. Yes, Melinda, absolutely. That's a good point too. Choose the right mentor. So do your due diligence. Check out Google reviews and things like
Mm.
that. Feel in with your gut. Your gut knows. Your gut knows whether it's good to work with someone or not. However, I have been ripped off. I must say, I've thrown money at things without doing my due diligence, and I've learnt the hard way on that one. And I know
Mm.
a lot of people who've come to work with me. They've said, "I wish I came to you earlier because I've been so ripped off by all these other people." So unfortunately, there are sharks out there, and it's very important to do your due diligence and find a mentor who walks the talk, who's actually doing what they say as well. Anyone can say anything, but are they actually doing it, and are they living it?
Yeah. Yeah,
So I think
absolutely. Yeah.
that's really important as well. So Aram, if people want to work with you, how can they do that?
Well, you can definitely find me on my website. You can schedule. I have a link on my website where you can just schedule a free consultation call for half an hour, where we can talk about whatever it is that's going on and what you're looking for, and just sort of how I can help you more specifically. So it's on my website. It's aramdoye.com. And on there, there's more information also about what I do, how I can help people. And yeah, you can get on there and schedule a consultation call, free
Beautiful.
consultation call.
And you have an awesome podcast. What was it that inspired you to start a podcast?
Yeah, it was just wanting to, first of all, talk to people that I admire, that I respect, that I feel like can have done some work that they've learned stuff along the way that other people can benefit from. And I always look forward to getting those nuggets, those gold nuggets that people, anybody who's listening can use.
Yeah, and it was a great experience being on your show. I loved it. We did it on
Thank you.
Restream, and here we are
Yeah,
on
I was,
StreamYard. So we're trialing out each other's platforms,
I
live stream
know.
platforms. So yeah, that's a podcast. Get Free and Fulfilled. You'll find that.
Yeah.
Where will they find that podcast?
So it is on Spotify. It's also on podcast on what's it called? Apple
Apple.
Podcasts.
Yep.
And I believe it's on all the other major ones, Google Podcasts. Yeah, all of the major ones. It's all out there.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And also we have another link here.
So
Secrets to
yeah,
being.
that's
Mhm.
a free be for free meditation for somebody who's looking for, ways to relax and bring in more peace in their lives. So there's a checklist on there that they can go over to do specific things, actionable steps that they can start doing right away to really welcome more peace in their lives and also do a meditation. It's all
Love that.
available on there for free.
Beautiful. And that is raising your vibration, which means you will attract more opportunities to yourself and more
Yes.
amazingness. So that is a
Feeling good
fantastic
is the
offer.
secret, and we are in control
Yes.
of that. You can really make yourself feel good.
Yes. And what is it that makes you feel good? What is it that gives you joy? Even in lockdown, you can dance, you can play an instrument, you can sing, you can get
Yes,
creative.
yes. Oh yeah.
So much
And
we can
there's so
do.
many things, so many things. For me
Mm.
personally, it's music. I mean, I love to listen to music. I love to dance to music. That's one of the things that I do every day, actually. My neighbors hear me probably every day playing it. But
Yes.
there's so many things that you can do. Find what you like. It doesn't have to be complicated. It could be super simple. If it's just like, I don't know, even watching something that makes you laugh, like a 5 minute video on YouTube that makes you laugh or puts you in a good mood for the day, that changes your state, do that. Or just get up, take a walk. Just those simple things that you can do every day. If it's going out to nature, just take the time to do that for yourself. It's all part of self-care and part of self-love.
Absolutely. Love that. Any final tips on how to get free and fulfilled before we wrap up today, Aram?
Oh wow, that's I would say really the most important thing is to get to know yourself, get to know who you are, and also love every single part of yourself and do
Mm,
whatever you have to do to get to that place of self love. And it's about changing the story that you tell yourself and praise yourself. And, self praise is um, when, like, for me personally, I wasn't used to it. So at first when I was doing it and looking at myself in the mirror, and it's like, I love you, you're beautiful, at first it felt
mm,
like a lie. It was like, oh, this is so weird. Well, it doesn't feel okay. But the more you say that, then it starts to become true and you start to believe it, and it goes back to, what story are you telling yourself? If you choose to
mm,
tell the story that I am lovable, I am beautiful, I am enough, and all those things, choose the story that you want to tell. Choose it consciously, choose it intentionally, and choose it deliberately. And
mm,
tell that story over and over and over. Think it, say it, feel it, and that becomes your new story. That becomes your belief.
love it, love it, love it. That is awesome. Melinda says, yes, music have to be aware of volume control. Yes, absolutely. Be aware of volume control. Music is a great way to shift your state. So
Easiest way for me that I found to shift my state.
yeah, so great. Oh, Ram, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you
Thank
today.
you
Of
so
course,
much. Thank you.
those watching this, remember you can connect with Aram, and it's Ndoye, not Dory. Melinda did you say Dory, like the fish in Finding Nemo? No, no.
That's funny. Finding Dory.
Yeah. So it's
It's a
this
good
one here,
one.
Aram Ndoye. Here it is here, Aram Ndoye. So have a look at the website there. She says, yes, it's the weirdest thing, just like interview question. Tell me about yourself. Good idea. Practice fantastic. Practice fantastic. Oh, sorry, lol. That's been great. Great. Melinda, it's been like having you here with us the whole time.
Thank you, Melinda.
Yeah, thank you for all your lovely comments. And for those watching this after today, let us know, where are you from today? Let us know where you're joining us from. What's something you have got out of this interview today? Do you have any tips on how to get free and fulfilled you'd like to share? And if you like what you've seen here, then please share the love. Melinda says, thank you. Thank you so much, Melinda. Thank you for being with us today. And
Thank you for being with us, Melinda.
Have joined us. Thank you so much for being here. And if you have enjoyed what you've seen, then please share the love. Share the love, comment, like, share, and subscribe to Media Queen TV if you haven't already. Also, I have a few events coming up. We have the Free Publicity Secrets Masterclass, Social Media Masterclass. I have a free webinar coming up, how to gain over $1 million worth of free positive publicity. So you'll find all of that here at the link, at linktree/Aldwyn. Subscribe to Media Queen TV if you haven't already. You'll find that here on the Linktree as well. And just look out for that, Media Queen TV, inspiring truth and good news. Linktree/Aldwyn. Any final words, Aram? All the way from New Jersey.
Yeah, just, thank you for having me on. It's been a blast chatting with you. It's always been fun. And yeah, let's keep spreading the love.
Yes.
I wish I had some hearts like you do, but yeah, thank you for spreading the love.
My pleasure. I think I have another one here somewhere. Yeah, I don't know where. Here it is. Here it is. I have two. I have one for each of us. Aram, there we go.
Thank you.
We have lots of love to give.
Yes.
Keep spreading the love.
Amen to that.
Remember, hurt people. So don't take anything personally. If someone's being nasty, they're just hurting. So just give them love. Give them love. And more importantly, give yourself even more love. Give yourself lots of love. And here's to creating the life of your dreams, being free and fulfilled. Thank you so much for joining us here on Media Queen TV. Thank you, Aram. You're an absolute legend. I feel calm and peaceful just talking to you, I must say. I feel you have a really beautiful presence about you. So keep doing that amazing work, and look forward to staying in touch and hearing more of your amazingness.
Yes, it's been amazing. Thank you for having me on.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And have a beautiful night over there. What time is it for you now in New Jersey?
9 p.m.
9 p.m. over there.
Yeah.
9 p.m. And it's now the 20th of January here, 2022. It is noon, 12 noon. So you're 9 p.m. the day before, right? 19th
yeah,
of January.
We're still on 19th.
19th of January. Beautiful. Yeah. Well, enjoy your sleep tonight.
Amazing.
And
look
forward to talking soon. Thank you so much. Good night.
Bye.
And have a great day for those in daylight. Bye for now.